Welcome to Coaching Uncut, a special series on the Unstoppable Woman podcast, where I take you behind the scenes and give you a peek into the private coaching I do with my clients. All of these coaching calls have been recorded with the permission from my clients who have generously allowed me to share these with you as a way of helping more people in this world. They give you access to master level coaching and the opportunity to learn the lessons that they're learning right along with them. Please keep in mind that these recordings are not studio productions and the audio quality may be less than ideal, but the content will take you far and help you become unstoppable. With that, listen in and learn. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Okay. So you had some thinking homework. How did that go?
Well, like I said, I'm pretty certain that I am the cause of everything that's happened. I mean, I've always actually owned up that I did something. I didn't realize that I really didn't do any, that I can now reframe it. It's not necessarily what I did, but how I am. Like the things that I've been preconditioned to believe that really aren't my true beliefs that need to be switched. And that I now have control over that.
Yeah. So this is a huge recognition, is it not?
Yeah. You know what? It was me. I mean, I felt heavy and then I felt much lighter. Because because you were talking about the blame and shame, right? That was my father's big thing. Always. That Irish Catholic guilt, shame, right? It's not just good enough that maybe you screwed up. He's got to make sure you remember it and that you knew it 1,000 times over. So, believe it or not, even when I had the restaurant, he kept saying to me, this isn't going to make it. This isn't going to make it.
Yeah, so a couple things there. One, I'm really glad that you recognized that it felt really heavy at first, and then it felt super light because you recognized that the heaviness came from blame and being on the continuum of right and wrong versus the continuum of personal responsibility. And when you take personal responsibility, you recognize that you're always at cause, and yet you don't have to make yourself wrong. It doesn't have to come with a personal guilt trip, and in fact, that's what keeps you feeling bad about yourself, having to defend your position instead of moving forward and saying, oh yeah, I see this. I got this. Okay, onward. Let's do this differently. So great recognition on that, and great recognition that you felt it in your body also, right? That there's a kinesthetic sense to that. Remember that, because that will be a great reminder and litmus test for you going forward. Okay, when you start feeling that heaviness, you will know that you're off track versus on track. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I would say it's the same thing with the nervousness because I always feel it in my body.
Yeah, when you feel it in your body, you're like, oh, look at that. Good on me for recognizing it. What do I need to do differently here to shift my perspective, my attitude, my energetic come from, right? Like, what do I need to do differently in this moment? What's the new thought? What's the new action? What's the new feeling that I need to create?
Well, when we did that day that we did, that one on VIP day, when you had me breathing into it, I've been doing that ever since. And I keep saying, okay, breathe into it, let it go, ask what's wrong, recognize it, and release it. I've been doing that, practicing that, because I never realized really where that came from. And yet it's always been there. Now I used to say, oh, it's intuitive, and maybe in some part it is, but not always. Not always.
Yeah,
not
so
always.
Good. Is that shifting things for you as you do that over time?
Yeah, it has been. When I get caught up in it, when I recognize it, like sometimes I will just be in it and I'll have to say, well, where's this coming from? Is this mine or is this somebody else's? Where is this coming from?
Great.
And sometimes it can be somebody else's, especially if I'm around a lot of people, but I have to ask myself, is this yours or is this somebody else's, and it's got to go.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. The other thing that I want to circle back to is that you're recognizing that this pattern came from your father, and your father's not to blame. Your father just is perpetuating what he learned, okay? And until you bring conscious awareness to this pattern, it just becomes something that generationally it gets passed on, societally it gets passed on. It's how we think we are supposed to respond and behave because that's what's modeled for us, and we don't have another model. And you're recognizing that your father, in his attempt to, help you survive in this world and protect you, although it may not have felt that way, okay? It may have felt like sabotage.
Oh, yeah, clearly, right, yeah.
He, in some fashion, he was trying to share with you the way he knew how to create success. What he didn't realize was it's never created success. Okay, the guilt and the shame don't create success. They might create a little bit of urgency, some urgency energy, but generally speaking, from the guilt and the shame, urgency energy, people go into defensiveness, not into doing something different that would up-level their experience.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I would also say that other people with not necessarily always your best interest in heart, let me put it that way, pick up on that energy and then feed it back to you.
100%.
Because they recognize it before you do. Yeah. Or as I've gone through my head thinking about certain situations, I can see where that actually, they were giving me back what they saw in me, the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah. So that's the law of vibration right there. Okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's actually, as I'm going through it and thinking, and I'm like, Jesus, I wish I had done this 30 years ago. I'd have a much different life.
Yes, 100%. But like the universe is always for you. We don't know yet why you didn't tap into this 30 years ago. I ask myself that all the time as well. The answer that I came up with for myself, because I learned this in my 40s, okay? I did not learn this in my 20s or my 30s or my teens. And the thing that I've come up with is that it makes me more compassionate and understanding, makes me able to work with people like you, right? And understand exactly what's going on for you. It gives me the knowledge, that experience is giving me the knowledge to serve in the way that I am serving. We don't know why you came to this later in life versus earlier in life, but we'll find out at some point.
Well, probably because I was up here taking care of my mother and I was home more than I would have been if I wasn't, and I happened to be on Facebook doing things I normally would not have been doing, and there you were, and I started tapping in because I needed to hear the message. But ironically, I had the Florence Scovel Shin book given to me in my late 20s. I've had all this in my life.
Oh, yeah, don't make yourself wrong here, okay? I read that book too, okay? And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I was like,
I did too.
It's the best. Okay?
And then I would practice it for like a minute, and then I'd forget it and move on. I know it's.
Yeah. So don't beat yourself up. It's like all of this is happening for a reason. Now, I want to be clear. When I say all of this is happening for a reason, I don't want that to be spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing looks like, oh, this is all happening for a reason. I don't have to do anything differently.
No.
Okay?
I'm not like, trust me, that's not my gig.
I know it's not your gig, but I just want to call that out because that can be a real hook for people. They're like, oh, this must have happened for a reason.
Oh yeah, and then they always use the karma thing too. It's my karma. It's no.
Yeah, you get to take. This is about taking personal responsibility. That's how the laws work, right? It's not about saying this was supposed to happen for a reason and I don't have to do anything differently with it. The different might be, how are you going to use it? How are you going to benefit from it? What needs to happen for you to do your work in this world? Do you even know what your work is, right? And there are a lot of questions there. So I give that to you and as a thought experiment for yourself. Like, you're in the real estate business. How could you use what you're learning through this work together to not just up-level yourself, because it's up-leveling you like massively in the last few weeks. How can this be something that you can pass on to your clients without being one of those obnoxious people that is like proselytizing when no proselytizing is desired, right? How can you be one of those people that really helps people with this information?
If you want to master your business, you must master your mindset first. Our next Income Breakthrough Summit is designed to help you do just that. This November, in just 3 days, I am going to be giving you a roadmap of exactly what you need to do to dramatically increase your income and achieve the freedom that you desire without burnout. Podcast listeners, you can save big by visiting theunstoppablewoman.com/breakthrough to grab your super early bird ticket today and save $800. You better hurry while the offer is still available. Bye for now, and I'll see you at the summit.
The way I've always been able to do it, even with the loss, with my brother died, I always able to. I can be very empathetic, and I share my own experiences. I put it into words. Well, this is what I went through. Maybe this will help you. I always make it a more on the personal. I don't say, well, you should do this. I always say, well, my experience for myself has been.
I love that. Do that with your clients. Start teaching this, passing it on, not in direct ways, but in indirect ways.
I love that idea.
Does that make sense?
No. I actually love that idea. I love it with that because, like I told you, I never realized what I was supposed to be doing with my life, and somebody laughed and said, "You were stupid. You're in service. That is your life mission, even in service to rescuing animals."
Yeah.
Which ironically,
giving is the first law of receiving. I'll let you finish in a moment. But giving is the first law of receiving, and it doesn't have to happen direct one-to-one. Sure, it might happen with that one client if you give more, and this is a way of giving more. It's actually what I'm teaching this afternoon also. This is a way of giving more right now, and that will come back to you. But it's also, the more you do this in general in your life, you will find that you will receive more directly and indirectly, okay? Meaning it might not be direct through that one client.
And I don't, I don't look for it to come back from that. Well, you know what? Yes, I used to. And I realized, no. You just, because you help somebody, you don't expect it, they don't necessarily have to give it to you. It comes back from other people. That was when I was younger. I thought that way, and I realized, no, the more you give to other people, the more it comes back to you. It just may not come back to you through the conduits that you expect it to.
Correct.
But last night, I was going to tell you, ironically, I was on Facebook doing this thing, I share dogs, right? I'm always raising money for dogs. Mm-hmm. I give it's my second job. And this really psychic medium came in and said to me, I just want you to know that are always with you. You're one of the Earth light workers.
Aww.
And I was like, that is the most awesome thing. So now I have a goddaughter who has some issues. And I read on her, and then I sent it to her, and I said, I need you to embrace her.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, she came back and said, thank you. I said, I need you to embrace her energy. You are her.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, it was kind of like a quick 10-minute thing, but it was a beautiful 10.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, let me tell you just quickly about the showing I did in Drake yesterday with another broker. It was fabulous. It was magic. I think she's got the right client for it. We went in and he was there and I introduced him and said, blah, 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 right? And she without prompting, she turned around, she looked at him, and she said, I don't understand why your house hasn't sold. It's right priced. It's perfect. I love this neighborhood. I don't understand it. I have the same house going through the same situation and went through it without my prompting, just went off. And he just looked at me and said, I'm sorry. It was magic.
I'm sorry. She said it in front of your client? Is that what
you
mean?
Yes.
Okay. This is the client who overpriced it?
Yeah, right, and she went on and she said she's been doing price reductions. She does open houses and they haven't been. She's not getting showing. She said it's just the weirdest market. She was just going on, and I just stood there and let her do it.
Yeah.
She did my work for me, literally. She reaffirmed it, and he looked at me and he was like, "I'm sorry." I said, it is what it is.
Yeah. Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I love it. So
yeah, I do too.
Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm feeling really good about where you're at. Okay. And, be grateful for that agent that came back for you. I think that's a reaction to you stepping into your power and owning it.
Well, we can talk about that too. I believe so. And I will tell you that my power, I believe, I hate to say this, but I believe that my power was always recognized by my family more than I ever realized it, because I was always put down.
Okay.
And I believe that's what, as I'm thinking about it, and why haven't I embraced it? Why haven't I fully stepped in? And I would say it comes from that.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. See you Monday. Talk more about it.
Sounds good.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
You too.
I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this episode of Coaching Uncut. Let us know in the comments what you learned and how you can apply it to your own life and business. We absolutely love hearing from you. And we also love receiving your feedback. So thank you in advance for your likes and reviews. They really help us connect with more women who need this information to help them scale. So much appreciated for that and taking the time to do that. Now, if it's go time for you and you're ready to scale your life and your business, then I want to offer you up something. I want to offer you access to our Be Unstoppable Facebook group. We drop daily and weekly resources in this free group that show you exactly how to scale, what you need to be doing differently. So if you want access to that group and it's go time for you, go to theunstoppablewoman.com/Facebook group, and that will redirect you there. So theunstoppablewoman.com/Facebook group, no spaces, and start by getting your copy of the Scale Plan, which lives there, and it's totally free. So go do that now, and then tune in to the next episode and continue to be unstoppable.